Why do we feel it's necessary to yak about bullshit in order to be comfortable?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's Late Night with the Gringo. It's episode 62, and we've got lots to talk about once again from south of the border. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I am busy. Been busy today?
It's been a busy day. We've had a very, very busy day, and we're still getting over our cold, so if I sound like I'm, congested, it's because I am congested. Although, it's been a good day. Been watching some baseball, but there's been lots of news that's come out. So we got some pop culture to talk about. We got some politics to talk about. We're going to get to the politics, the heavy stuff first. So we got some real heavy stuff to go first. We talked about this story last week when it happened, the tragedy in Texas. And it's a tragedy all around. And, we have two track athletes, high school track athletes, 17 years old each. One of them white, one of them black. They got into an altercation, and one of them is now being charged with first-degree murder in the state of Texas, which is probably the worst state you can be charged with first-degree murder. So we're going to get into it because it has turned into exactly what I think everybody thought it would turn into, or beginning to at least turn into what we thought everybody would think it would turn into, especially in the United States of America. That's right. What card are we going to play today?
Are we playing the race card?
We're going to play the race card.
All right, this is interesting.
Yep.
I will tell you this. I've talked about this a lot with the other member of our family. We've been kind of discussing what would be probable punishment, the charges levied, and the probability that he gets convicted of that, or if it gets changed. And I have a lot to say about this case, but I'll let you get into some of the details before we give our analysis at least each. And I don't know about this development. I haven't read anything about it today. So is this recent?
Yeah, it's over the weekend and from today, a couple articles, and it's just. The state of Texas. Let's get to one of the articles here, and this is really the one right here that I want to talk about. Online fundraiser for Texas track meet stabbing suspect nears $150,000. The goal is $200,000. So yes, there are online fundraisers and GoFundMe's and whatever for both the victim's family and now the suspect's family. So the family of the Texas suspect says narrative being spread is false, unjust, and harmful. Now, I will say this. There have been websites that have been pointed to by news outlets that are just spreading total disinformation. So that's out there. So if this is a case that you're interested in following, or you have some sort of passion behind, there's already so much disinformation about this. What happened was, what we know is this, okay, so far. Let's just, for those of you who don't know what happened. There was a track meet at a school just outside in the Dallas area. A couple of high schools there. It was sort of like a intramural or collegiate level, whatever it was. But it was a track meet.
It's a track competition.
So you have one school here, one school there, and it was delayed because of weather. So they had tents set up, one tent for one school, one tent for another. One gentleman was in the wrong tent. One of the students from that tent said, "Hey, you're not supposed to be in here." It got the altercation, and apparently it got physical. Apparently, the gentleman who wanted the other kid to leave put his hands on him. Now, I've stayed away from race right now. I'm doing that on purpose, and it's kind of hard to describe. So one student put his hands on him, said, "Hey, you're gonna get it." Now, it had already been escalating verbally since then between both. Both parties were involved in escalating this. And when it first got physical, the other party over here took out a knife and stabbed this party in the chest, killing him. And then ran, threw the knife away, was eventually caught by the police. The police said over the radio, "I have the alleged suspect in custody." And the suspect literally turned to the police and says, "I'm not alleged, I did it." And so, arrested, first-degree murder. Of course, we're talking about, this is the victim right here. That is Austin Metcalf, Jr. at Memorial High School in Frisco, Texas. And that is the perpetrator, the suspect allegedly who committed the act of murder. That is Carmelo Anthony, 17, arrested and charged, again, like I said, with first-degree murder. Now, first, let's just, it's just human beings. Before we get all into crap about this, can we just be honest with each other? That's a 17-year-old kid. That's a baby face. That's a 17-year-old kid. That's a baby face.
Yeah, these are
babies.
Yeah, these are children.
And something horrible happened, and we allegedly know some of the details. We don't know all of the details. We do know now that there was a report that from KTAX television that at least 30 students witnessed the incident. So there's plenty of eyewitnesses out there. Mm-hmm. And who knows, and the thing about eyewitnesses is you remember some things, you don't remember certain other things. Eyewitness testimony is not exactly the most reliable testimony, but it looks like this one is probably going to hinge on that on a great deal.
And I think people are going to have a problem with using eyewitness testimony to impose, because if you look at the charges, first-degree murder, the minimum charge is actually life in prison, or death penalty, if available.
And don't think that the state of Texas is beyond going on the death penalty for a 17-year-old kid.
Yeah, they will charge him as an adult because he's over the age of 16, so he has a potential to be charged. He
has already been charged as an adult.
Oh, he's actually been charged as an adult.
He has been charged with first-degree murder as an adult.
The penalty is in play. Listen, I'm surprised they went with first degree. I'll be honest. First degree means it was premeditated. I don't think you could say it's premeditated. You could probably charge second degree, I'd imagine, or third.
Well,
third you can't really charge, because third is like just accidental disregard for human life or depraved mind, right? Yeah. But you can maybe argue. But I'm surprised they went with first degree and not second degree, because second degree actually also carries the possibility of parole after 20. Yeah. I believe if you're charged with first degree, from what I understand, there is no parole. If you get convicted of first degree.
In Texas? I don't believe so.
I believe that's like standard for most states. I think except for Illinois and a couple other states where they will consider parole if there are circumstances surrounding the charge. But I think this is I'm pretty sure that was second degree, but I could be wrong. I have to look at the law again. But yeah, my point is this. This is I'm surprised they went first degree, and you've pretty much made it where there's no chance he takes a deal.
Well, see, that's where I disagree with you. I think they overcharged him with first-degree murder, because first-degree murder is predetermined, premeditated, all that stuff. I mean, you're talking psycho kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I don't look at this kid and think he's a psycho. I'm looking at the kid and going, he there's something wrong. I mean, I don't think he's in the clear. I don't think he's in the right. I don't think either one. First-degree murders, I think what they did is they charged first-degree murder for two reasons. One, to try to force a plea to a lesser charge, like second degree or maybe even first-degree manslaughter, which is got a little bit of predetermined, right? And give him like 5 to 7 years and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
That, or to also, when they charge him with first-degree murder, it gives in Texas the ability for the jury to say, we don't find first degree, but we do find elements of second-degree murder, or we do find elements of third-degree murder. You can't charge up. You can't convict up as a jury. You can convict down.
You can convict down. Okay.
And I think that's part of the reason why. But I really think the state of Texas is hoping that there would be a plea deal, because I don't think they want this going to trial at all.
But this kid's going to, I mean, the fans are going to put it to trial. I mean, look at the fundraiser.
Yeah.
I mean, to give context to both of these students, they're both honor roll students. The victim is a football MVP, from what I understood. Well-liked, academically great. The other one is also equally academically great. He does sports. He works two jobs. Which
3.7 GPA.
3.7 GPA. Both of these kids had a bright future. And I say had, and I'm not saying that there isn't a possibility for at least this other guy to have a bright future after he probably gets convicted, I imagine. Unless he doesn't get convicted, which is possible. It's very much possible if you look at the...
I saw OJ get a not guilty verdict, so anything's possible.
Yeah, anything's possible. But it's a tragedy to see two young lives with so much potential just kind of get thrown away. To give you a better background on the circumstances, this is according to an affidavit from a witness. These are details I recall. Now, obviously, this could have been one of those cases where you told me, where you just told the stream that it's false information. I don't believe it was false information. I believe it's pretty accurate. It was reported by a local news site. It was apparently the brother was first involved.
Yeah.
Who addressed him saying, "You're in the wrong seat." It started to get a little aggressive, the two of them, in terms of the words, because the other one, this guy was not. Well, we'll go. Should I go with last names, or is that wrong?
Yeah, go with last
I'll
name.
go with last name. Anthony here is his last name, right?
Yep, Carmelo Anthony. Yeah,
Carmelo Anthony still refused to move. His twin brother, the victim, Austin Metcalf, then involved himself in order to kind of just protect. Your brother protects brother.
Twin brothers.
Right, twin brothers. By then, it was just a verbal confrontation, but Austin and Anthony escalated that verbal confrontation. He threatened to, I believe, move him physically, move Anthony physically. Anthony said, touch me, and this is according to the affidavit, touch me and see what happens. And Metcalf placed his hands on him in an effort to move him, and shortly after, Anthony pulled out a knife, this is according to a witness, and stabbed him once to the chest, then ran. I think there's also a supervisor there, allegedly, according to the witness statements, like feet away, because he pretty much responded within the minute to Metcalf on the ground where his brother was holding him. So I'm also surprised that the adult didn't step in prior to that, because this was pretty loud if 30 people are witnessing this.
Yeah.
And that means the supervisor were just letting this play out.
I mean, you're in a tent full of students.
Yeah, exactly. And there's got to be at least one adult in there. And according to reports, there is an adult. It was the first person who stepped in after the murder or assault, which is honestly more disappointing to me. And I'm not saying Anthony's in the right, no one's in the right here, but it is disappointing to me that there was an adult in this situation who didn't insert himself prior to things escalating. Yeah. If that is truly the case,
well,
then everything else that you said subsequently happened. Yeah. And I guess you can argue, and this is where I kind of start to take off with this, is he did not technically become the aggressor. So I wonder if that's what the defense is going to argue.
Well, first let's get to there's a GoFundMe for both families. Right? Let's start. Let me get to all that, right? Because we're going to get to all that and the aggressor and this and whatnot, and then all the other stuff that's going to come in with that. So they've already raised this money now. The narrative. This is what the father of the suspect says. The narrative being spread is false, unjust, and harmful. The Anthony family said in a statement on the crowdfunding platform Give, Send, Go. As a family of faith, we are deeply grateful for all of your support during this trying period. Your prayers and assistance mean more to us now, more than ever. All right. Carmelo and his family, the fund called the Help Carmelo Official Fund was set up to support Carmelo and his family during this challenging and difficult time. Because guess what? Defending yourself against murder charges is expensive in the United States.
Yep, especially in Texas where the death penalty is up to play. You want a good lawyer.
Yeah. So now they've given him a $1 million bond.
Yeah, I saw that. That's excessive.
That's very excessive for a 17-year-old kid, but he's being held on that. Now they've already said they're going to challenge that in court this week, see if they can get a lesser bond, see if they can get him out so he can be out while awaiting trial. I don't think that's happening.
I think they will actually put a lesser bond on this. So I find it hard for a judge to be like, he's 17 years old, he's accused of it. Yes. Is he a flight risk? I don't think he would be a flight risk, but I've seen parents do crazier things.
I see that's the thing. It's the parents trying to protect their children, and parents will do anything to protect their children if they love them.
Yeah, I just don't think they put them. But where would you put them in another? You can't put them.
Get them out of there.
Another country,
right? Maybe
you'd have to put them in another country because another state doesn't solve your problem.
Nope. So the lawyer for the suspect said, "I know that my client said it was self-defense. I don't have any reason to disbelieve that, but I need to develop facts, talk to people, and figure out what's going on before I make any statements about what I think happened." Attorney Derek Walpole, who was hired by the Anthony's family Friday, told KXAS-TV, quote, "I don't have any reason to think it wasn't self-defense at this time."
And that's where I tell you where he's actually got a solid basis because, one, you're trying to get a murder charge off of witness testimony. And that witness testimony may differ in details, but there are two details that are not accurate. One placed his hands on the other first.
Okay.
Two, Anthony made a clear statement saying, "Do not put your hands on me. You'll see what happens." Yeah. Granted, also three, we saw him stab him. Everyone saw him stab the kid, right? As tragic it is. But with those three details, you could possibly argue self-defense. Now, I don't think self-defense is plausible because self-defense means you have to be addressing a immediate significant bodily harm or threat on your life, right?
Kind of, sort of.
Kind of, sort of, but it's a gray area because it's a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
So you may have to give him more leeway in regards to those definitions of self-defense. It's also a stand your ground state. Now that this is with a knife, that's usually applied with gun laws, if I'm not mistaken.
It's basically in Texas, the stand your ground law, also known as the Castle Doctrine, allows individuals to use force, including deadly force, in self-defense without a duty to retreat, as long as they are in a place where they have a legal right to be and they reasonably believe they are in imminent danger.
Quick clarification: AI is actually wrong with that. Stand your ground is different from Castle Doctrine. Castle Doctrine is your property.
Okay.
Stand your ground is wherever you are if you are legally able to be there. So it's combining those two as the same name because essentially it's the same law. It's just
this principle extends to the right of self-defense to your home vehicle or workplace or to public places where you have a legal right to be.
Right. So he had a legal right to be there.
Did he have a legal right to be there? Yeah, I guess he did.
Yeah, it's a track meet. Yeah,
he's there. Right? But he's in the wrong tent. But anyways.
You don't deserve to be.
You must not be engaged in criminal activity at the time. Well, let me ask you a question. Isn't bringing a knife to a track meet criminal activity? You must reasonably believe that the use of force is immediately necessary. So he needs to prove that he thought he was going to be killed.
Or at least significantly harmed.
Okay.
Because you could also argue that his death was an accident. He did not intend to kill.
Provoking the situation or engaging in illegal activity will negate the right to self-defense. So there's a lot of holes in the whole stand your ground thing here.
But there's also a lot of ways you can fill that. He didn't move from there, but if you wanted him to move, you can talk to the adult that's right there. You can make the argument. Yeah. I'm not trying to defend Anthony here from a murder charge. I'm not trying to say Metcalf is in the wrong. I'm not trying to say any of these are in the wrong because these are still alleged and needs to be decided by a court of law. I'm trying to put a little bit of here devil's advocate and what the defense attorney might argue. And the defense attorney might argue that the situation necessitated him to defend himself.
Okay.
It's unfortunate he stabbed him in the chest. Absolutely. He's a 17-year-old boy who was assaulted, because that's what he's going to say. He was assaulted by Metcalf. There was an adult in the immediate vicinity who could have stepped in, who the other boy could have gone to ask him to move him from the wrong tent if that was such a big deal.
Well, in the end, I look at all that stuff and I'm like, okay, so two 17-year-old boys get into a fight at a high school. Like, that happens every day at multiple high schools all around the United States. If we say that it's okay that it escalates to murder, to the stabbing of one kid into the chest to take his life away, are we saying that's okay for every time this happens?
Well, there shouldn't be fights in school.
Well, there are.
True, but there shouldn't be.
There are.
So the argument you make there, the problem is like, well, any judge or any competent attorney is going to tell you the rules in school are the same as the rules of the law. No fighting in school. You shouldn't be fighting.
Well, didn't he say, touch me and see what happens? Isn't that instigating? He's like, hey, you don't belong in this tent. Hey, you need to leave. Okay, I'm not leaving. Okay, well, we need you to leave.
You get an adult.
You don't belong here.
Yeah, but you get an adult then. If he's refusing to leave, what do they always tell you? Grab the person in charge, the authority figure.
What if the kids knew he had a knife in his bag already? Maybe he was moving him because he knew he was a threat. So
doesn't matter.
So maybe the kids. So he wanted to use his own force.
The problem is
there's a lot of back and forth, but that's not what I want to focus on.
No, we can't.
But that's not what I want to focus on.
I know that's not what you want to focus. But
so what I want to focus on is this: self-defense in a stand-your-ground state.
Yes.
This young man did nothing wrong and has the right to defend himself as the legal system, and it was the right for Daniel Penny and Kyle Rittenhouse. It's right for him too. Where I want to go with this topic is not whether you and I can go back and forth for 20 minutes on who's right and play devil's advocate. That gets us nowhere. What I think is going to happen is this is going to be a race issue. This is what's going to happen. They're going to turn it into a race issue.
Absolutely.
Daniel Penny, Kyle Rittenhouse, two white guys, they were acquitted on stand-your-ground laws of protecting themselves, right? And then here's another comment that's linked to this. Stay strong, young brother. All of us that have come up in this country hope to never go through this or see others like us go through this, but it is an unfortunate reality of this country that these people can appear to do as they like until we make a drastic and lasting change. Let your legal be the fight, one of the many victories in this seemingly eternal fight against racism and evil. So yes, He was standing up for racism. This is what's going to happen. It's the big bad white kids picking on the poor little black kid, and I think that's a load of shit. Because here's the difference. Here's what I want to say: the difference between the two sides. Right? The father of the victim, the one that died, said, "Please do not make this an issue of race. It's not about race. It's not about race. It's not about politics. It's not about this." Right? But here comes the liberal left, and everything's about race. It's all victimhood. He had to murder him because he's a victim. He had to do this because it's the big bad white terror. And that's the bullshit part of it.
I don't agree with that. I agree with you in the sense that this should not be about race. This should just be about two 17-year-olds who got into a confrontation that unfortunately escalated to one of them being killed. This should not go towards race. And I don't think you need to go towards race to even win this case if you're a defense, nor do you need to go towards race if you're the prosecution.
No.
This should not involve race, period. My whole argument is, can you apply stand your ground? Is it applicable here, right? Does it satisfy all the rules and necessary regulations for it to qualify? And if so, then he's free to go. I mean, as unfortunate as it is.
Well, the trial, they've already requested...
Houston?
No, they've already... Where the trial is in outside of Dallas, there is already going to be increased security. They are already putting up grandstands for the press to be outside. They will not allow them inside. They know this is going to turn into a shit show.
Yeah. This is you're right. This is going to be a shit show, and I think this is going to set a precedent for cases like this.
But it shouldn't. It should be what happened, and it should be regardless of whether this kid's black or whether the victim's white. But here's the thing. If it was reverse, right? If we're looking at a picture of a mugshot of a white kid, and then the victim's picture is black.
Oh yeah,
is it racism? The same? Is it still racism?
Yeah, listen, it's still going to be. Yeah, it's going to be a shit show regardless.
Whether a white guy kills a black guy, that's white. It's racism. It's hate crime. Okay, well the black guy kills the white guy. He did it because of racism, to avoid a hate crime. It's this circular argument. That is just...
That's why I don't think race should be involved in this.
It's absolutely bullshit. But that's where this story is going to end up going. Are you right? Yes, there's plenty of reasons to say this could have been a stand your ground law.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there's plenty of reasons to say it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
And God bless, I would not want to be on this jury to save my goddamn life.
This is a horrible case because you're right. You can argue this back and forth. There are holes in this argument. And on top of this, the prosecution, it seems like, relies on a couple of things. The weapon, DNA, witness testimony.
You know, the one question that I need to satisfy me to decide where I go, like my opinion, if I'm sitting on a jury,
I need more than that.
I need one question answered. Why did you bring a knife to a school track meet?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I want to know first. And if the answer, I need the answer to that question, the answer that Carmelo Anthony or his lawyers provide, if they provide one at all. Because he doesn't have to testify. That's the rule. He doesn't have to testify against himself. But that's until I get an answer to that question, going whether it's stand your ground or premeditated in some way or somewhere in between, I can't answer that. I need to know why he had that weapon on him. Now, again, the liberals will say every black kid at 17 should have a weapon on him because the white people are going to kill him. Well, that's not good enough because that's a load of shit, right? Because I can walk into any black neighborhood in America and feel threatened, feel unsafe. That's just the way of the world. It doesn't give me the right to walk around with a weapon ready to use it. But that's the way I feel.
I understand that. And I think we're getting too focused on the whole racial aspect. And if they make this a race case, I'm going to be very disappointed.
It's going to be. You lived in America long enough.
I know it's going to become that. I'm still holding out hope that it doesn't.
And the media is going to make it.
The media is going to make this worse. I think the media around this is a mess. I don't think they should allow the media anywhere near this case. I think this should stay within the courts of Texas. And at most, if it needs to go up to a federal court for some reason, because this might have weird precedents to set when it comes to students in school and self-defense, it should stay there. And if it does go to the Supreme Court, up the federal court system, then fine. I understand the media surrounding it. But right now, it's a state court case. It's an unfortunate incident. Yes, there are two students here of different race. People are different skin color everywhere. That should not be the key fact or aspect of the case. What should be is the evidence, what happened, what transpired. Was he in the right to defend himself? Did he go ahead of himself to defend himself than he should have? Or more than his means, right? And I think this is going to be a mess. I don't know where this is going to go. I could see either or.
Well, you got one kid dead, one kid's life is ruined, and two families destroyed.
Yeah.
We're going to keep an eye on this. This is going to be an interesting one, but we got some more stuff to go to.
When's the court case?
They haven't set a court date yet.
I think a year.
Oh, it'll be a year.
Yeah,
something like that, right? Hey, do you want national or international?
We'll stick with national right now.
You want to stick with national? Okay.
We went from state news to let's go national.
All right.
And then after that, we'll go international.
So this guy, do you know who this guy is?
I've heard of this guy. This guy was
calm as a bitch.
Was this guy deported by accident?
Supreme Court pauses so John Roberts issued a stay. The Supreme Court Chief Justice issued a stay to say this guy has to stay in El Salvador until we figure out the case. He does not have to be immediately returned from El Salvador, even though he was, quote, mistakenly deported. Well, quote, he was not mistakenly deported, okay? Let's get it. This is the CNN article, so there's going to be a little bit of bullshit sprinkled in. All right. So, who is that guy? Well, that is, let's get his name correctly. This is the decision to temporarily pause the case, which is relatively common when the court is facing a quick deadline, means that Abrego Garcia, a Salvadoran national deported on March 15th, will remain at a notorious prison in El Salvador for now. It sucks to be you, buddy. A lower court judge has given the administration until midnight to return him to the United States, but John Roberts stepped in and said, no, thank you. All right. Here's the thing. All right.
So why was he mistakenly deported? Well, why does he claim that, I should say?
Well, because he was allowed by another court to stay in this country, even though he was here illegally. You see this big long article as we go through it? It doesn't say, it's just Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump do bad things, Trump bad, Trump. And then we get here, right, more than halfway past the article. Abrego Garcia was in the country illegally, but an immigration judge in 2019, after reviewing evidence, withheld his removal. Well, I don't know. That meant that Abrego Garcia could not be deported to El Salvador at the time. A gang in his native country, the immigration judge found, had been targeting him and threatening him with death because of his family's pupusa business. Too bad. Go straighten out your own fucking country. For the next 6 years, court records show Abrego Garcia lived in Maryland, checked in with immigration officials annually, and was never charged with a crime. Except for he should have been charged with the crime. It's called entering the country illegally. So we had every chance on. But Abrego Garcia wound up on one of these 3 planes bound for a notorious prison in El Salvador on March 15th. Several of the people loaded onto those planes were deported under Trump's invocation of the 1798 Alien Enemies Act, an invocation that has drawn its own legal challenge now pending in the Supreme Court. But Abrego Garcia, the administrator said, was deported under different authorities. Who cares why he was deported? He should have been deported. He was there illegally. Who knows what he's already siphoned off the government and taxes and all that fun stuff, to be here illegally. He committed a crime. I'm not weeping for this guy.
I mean, listen, I understand you flee for your life, but there's asylum processes.
Yeah.
Yes, I can understand if it gets expensive. And I do sympathize in that regard, but you still broke the law. Now, do I think he should be in a Salvadorian prison? No, God, no. Did he break any law there? Did he break any law outside of entering illegally? No, right? From my understanding and to your understanding,
to my understanding, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Well, then he shouldn't be in a Salvadorian prison. He should, sure.
Well, that's not up to the United States. That's with El Salvador. Go talk to El Salvador. It's not Trump didn't put him there.
True,
Trump just put him on the plane.
I know, but if El Salvador put him in a prison, there's something concerning about that in the sense that he didn't do anything wrong in El Salvador, unless he did break the law in El Salvador, and to such an extent that he deserves to be in that Supermax prison. That's what my problem is. Now, the whole deportation. Listen, you were in the country illegally. It was going to happen eventually. What you should have done was left and then try to straighten it out.
Or wait a minute, he's been going to immigration officials for 6 years. Hasn't he wanted to make an effort to say, hey, I know I'm here illegally. I know you guys want to give me a little leeway. I want to work towards my permanent residency, because within 6 years, that's plenty of time to get your permanent residency.
Did he not make the conceded effort to do that?
No, it's big. Permanent residency is easy, buddy. Let me tell you something. If you're here
for 5 years, you only have to be here, right?
Yeah.
to get permanent residence. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're here for 6 years, you should at least have gotten that. Especially if you had
Let's
leeway.
if you keep talking, I want to make sure of that.
Yeah, if you had leeway with an immigration judge to say you can stay here for right now, unless they told him because your case is still pending, you can't apply. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know the circumstances when in regards to like when you're in the country and you've been given that sort of leeway, because it becomes like a weird legal jumbo kind of mess, right? Because you're illegal, but you're not kind of illegal because the judge says you can stay here for a bit, but it doesn't mean you can apply for permanent residence and all that.
So sponsorship by a U.S. citizen. So this is what happened, right?
Okay.
You have someone who went through the process in this house.
Right. Well, no, let's see his pathway, because this is a little different. Because this has him being
there's a couple. There's family-based immigration. Right. You have to be sponsored by a U.S. citizen or another lawful permanent resident relative, right? Yeah, eligibility: spouses, children, and parents of U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents are often eligible. The U.S. citizen or permanent resident relatives files a petition on behalf of the applicant, and it's Form 1130. That's it, right? There's employment-based. He was working here, right? He must have been, unless he was just siphoning off the sweet tit of America's government welfare program.
Listen, if he's doing that, if he's using a fake social and stuff like that, then yeah, he needs to be deported.
Right. All he would need is a U.S. employer to fill out Form I-140, and I know that form very well because I filled it out many times for Target, many times for Apple, for people who came to this country and wanted to work and on behalf of Apple, on behalf of Target. Phil does out, right? Okay, there you go. All right, or other refugee or asylum status. He could have done that. Diversity lottery. Who knows what that is? Victims of crime. Obviously, he's saying he's a victim of crime.
Yeah, he's a victim of crime. So yeah,
but he never went through these, right? Well, he never filed Form 485.
Hold on. You're saying he didn't go through these. No. You're reading the article and assuming he didn't. Did he actually go through these?
He said he visited once a year with immigration officials.
Right, I would read is his way of saying, yeah, I was going through the process. If he was going through the process, then he shouldn't have been deported.
Process takes 6 months.
Well, who knows? Because he was in a weird legal mumbo jumbo. Can we look that up? Can we be more?
Dude, the immigration, the person you go to with the
form.
What's
this guy's name?
Abrego Garcia. The person you go to with the form when you file for residency, right? You bring so your mother and I, we went to this person. That person's the final say. That person just goes, okay, cool, I approve you.
Dude, this guy has unfortunately shares like the same name with some really famous drug lord.
Oh, great.
I would hate if that's why he got deported. Let's see here. Which article did you have? The CNN or NBC?
CNN.
I wonder if the NBC here actually has the details. Okay, let's see. Solely by midnight, the Supreme Court ruled Monday. Okay. Was deported March 15th. District Court talking. Yeah, so same thing we know here. Okay. Abrego Garcia's attorney stressed to NBC News that the Supreme Court action was a temporary stay. It doesn't say how many days or even hours it's going to last, but we have every confidence that the Supreme Court is going to resolve this matter as fast as possible. In a statement earlier Monday through the Immigration Advocacy Group, that's nothing important to me. Let's see here. This doesn't really talk much. Okay, prior to so his client isn't back in the United States. But he planned to ask Zinnes to use the full power of the court to enforce her order. That's the court, the lawyer, the judge who asked for the order to be, or for him to be delayed, his deportation, whatever it was. This gets complicated because this is all talking about all the kind of the personal background, right? And I want to know if
he did, CNN would have that information. The lawyer for this person, the wife for this person would have given that information already.
Okay,
you'd have it.
The Trump administration has claimed that Abrego Garcia is an MS-13 gang member. But his attorney disputed those claims. Okay, so if he is, then yeah, he needs to go.
Even if he's not, he's still here illegally.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. But if he was here illegally but still trying to make that conceded effort like you were talking about, that's a different case, right? But if he was an actual gang member, then yeah. Oh, his claim was the Papusa restaurant, which Papusa is a food in El Salvador. Very well known. Actually, very good people if you want to try some good food. Okay. Sandoval Mosenberg said Abrego Garcia came to the United States in 2011 to flee gun violence, and gang members threatened to kill him in an attempt to extort his parents. The attorney also noted that Abrego Garcia does not have a criminal record in the United States or El Salvador.
Except for entering the country illegally. They always like to forget that part. Except for breaking that first law he broke when he first entered the country. Yeah, I don't have a criminal record here yet. Well, yeah, you do. You just broke it by being here.
Yeah, but you can also have no criminal record and still be part of a gang.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's I'm not saying he is a gang member because this is all allegedly.
I don't think he's a gang member. I don't care if I don't think he's a gang member. I really don't. I think he's just someone who got caught up. Hey, get on the plane because you were here illegally.
Yeah, but my only problem is if he truly was visiting an immigration officer and his case was still going through the system of trying to be resolved, like, hey, you're not supposed to be here, but you're granted this, and you're trying to do this now legally. You know what I mean? That's something for the courts to, and you shouldn't be deported yet until that's resolved, because that's how the system should work. Now, if he just came here illegally and he wasn't doing that, then yeah, absolutely, you should be deported, because then you're stealing money from federal taxes for, never mind retirees, but just the system in general. Social workers, social aid.
Hey, guess what? He's in El Salvador now. He's not covered under the Constitution.
Yeah.
So, sorry. Again, his BBC, no mentioning of, like, okay, Mr. Garcia entered the U.S. illegally as a teenager. In 2019, he was arrested with 3 other men in Maryland and detained by federal immigration authorities. During a hearing before an immigration judge, the Homeland Security Department said a proven and reliable source has confirmed that Mr. Garcia has ties to MS-13. So this was told about him in 2019. So this was so yes, he has ties to MS-13.
Okay, so then
a street gang that started in Los Angeles, but with roots in El Salvador. But now Mr. Garcia's attorneys argue that their client had no gang connections or criminal history. Well, wait a minute. So in 2019, you had the Department of Homeland Security under Biden,
right?
Saying this guy, if Biden says you're a gang, if the Biden administration says, "Hey, this guy is a gang member,"
you probably are, because that means like you have 2 administrations that agree, and these 2 administrations don't like to agree with each other. So yeah, if that's the case, if he's truly a gang member, yeah, you shouldn't be in the country, right? My only problem would be is if he wasn't a gang member and he was actually going to visit the immigration officer to figure out his case, and it was in process. That'd be the only way I would have a problem with that. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a balanced approach. But if you're a gang member, you gotta leave. You gotta leave, especially if you entered illegally. Whether you still continue to be a member in the States doesn't matter to me.
Yep.
You broke the law.
She misses him. You can go visit him in El Salvador.
I don't think she wants to.
She probably can't leave.
Is she illegal?
Probably.
Is she?
We don't know.
What if she's using fake papers and they figure it out because her case?
It's all coming down on you.
No, it's all coming ahead. It's rough.
Boy.
That's rough. But yeah, just don't break the law, people.
Oh boy!
Don't do stupid things.
Yeah, just so. Abrego, we hardly knew ye. Goodbye.
Yeah, I didn't know you until this moment. So
yeah, so I just found that funny. Okay, since we'll stay in the country. All right, hey. Do you know that you need a real ID in a month to be able to fly?
I have a passport.
Your passport is fine. Passports are fine. Here's the thing.
What are you talking about?
It's going to be chaos. You didn't know what the real ID thing is? Starting May 7th, people who don't have a real ID could have trouble getting through security at the airport. A real ID is, all right, you see this picture right here of this license? You see this little star here?
Yeah.
You need to, so if you don't have that star on your license, which a lot of states don't do that, right?
What
you
states
have
do?
It basically it's reaffirming for TSA that you have a real ID, you're legal, and all that stuff, right? It's all part of Homeland Security, right?
Okay.
So you have to, if in the last few months, and you have 1 month more to do it, you have to run down to the DMV, get a new license, basically say, here's my license, I'm a real person, here's my, so you fill out the form, and they give you a license with this little star on it. In the state of California, the star will be in the bear, the California bear.
That's cool.
Right? Texas, I already have one because Texas automatically does this, right? Does all this checking.
I thought it was just part of the whole design because Lone Star State, it fits. You know?
Making your way through the TSA checkpoint at the airport could be more challenging for a lot of travelers starting May 7th. If you have a valid U.S. passport, you don't have to worry about this.
Yeah, I always use my passport.
Me too. Now I just use that. I don't even bother bringing up my state.
I know you. I've never really realized that when you were in the U.S. and you're just flying from state to state, you don't need your passport. You can just use an ID, which makes sense. Because they do the same thing in the EU.
I was wrong. The Real ID law was passed right after 2001, terrorist attacks. It was originally planned to go into effect in 2008. It was delayed multiple times. It won't be delayed no more. Trump wants it.
Oh, okay. So it's been okay. So it's been talks and people. Some states got ahead of the curve and just kind of went with it.
Yeah.
And other states were like, until it's actually law, we're not going to do it. So now they're being forced to. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what?
So there's long lines at DMVs. There's long lines for us. I'm telling you right now, this story people are not really paying attention to. This is gonna be fun come May 7th. When all of a sudden people go to the airport and they're like, we can't let you in. It's not a valid ID. And that's the only ID they have.
Yeah. Listen, just get a passport.
If you don't have a passport, get yourself a passport. Sometimes it can take months because sometimes the passport operations get backed up. It's always just good to have a passport.
Yeah, get it now, especially. It's still April.
Yeah.
If you're planning to go in May, expedite it in a month. You'll get it. Right. Right now, it's still a good time. If you wait till May, good luck.
Yep.
That's a rough time for you. But yeah, this doesn't really affect me. I use a passport.
Yeah, but it's going to be a fun one. That one's going to be a fun one. I thought you might find that interesting for the international travel.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sure we'll have a lot of Instagram reels and YouTube shorts, TikTok of people breaking down the airport, but not going to Cabo.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. All right, we're going to stay in. Since you wanted to stay national, stay national. Trump threatens additional 50% tariffs on China as markets slump. Listen, I've heard two sides of this story.
Yeah, this is
okay.
Interesting.
I've heard that I was watching Asmongold the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And, he had people on and, his comment section to talk about the tariffs. And, and he's making the case that there's so many upset people out there, but the people are not upset about the tariffs. The people love the tariffs because most people don't have 401ks, which is not right, which is not a correct thing. Over 61% of people in the country own some sort of stock, whether it's through a 401k, a company sharing plan, some sort of thing like that. So, the idea that there's like the 1% of the 1% billionaires are the only ones that are being hurt by tariffs and the stock market dropping, that's not true. So I'm kind of concerned because I have a 401k that I live off of, and it's kind of going in the direction I don't want it to go. I don't want it to go that way. I don't know about you.
No, I don't want it to go that way either. It is absolutely concerning. But this is also done in response because of China launched tariffs and retaliation, right?
Yeah.
But they also did retaliation because their market plunged.
Yep. Well, didn't China have already tariffs on us?
Yeah, they had tariffs on us, but then they raised them.
They were a 34% levy.
Yeah.
On China. Okay. Wait, Trump imposed tariffs on Wednesday on dozens of countries, including a steep 34% levy on China. On Friday, Beijing retaliated with its own proposed 34% in levies on U.S. goods, mirroring the increase, right? But
Trump was like, no, we're going to go higher.
We're going to go higher. So if China doesn't bring their stuff off by April 9th, there's going to be 50% additional tariffs on China. Now, this is crazy because some things in China it's like 130% tariff on stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
So you can imagine that they're upset because of that, and I don't blame them.
Yeah. I mean, let's take a
Listen,
look.
I'd like it to two accounts can get along with each other. But if one's taking advantage of the other unfairly, then of course there's going to be retaliation eventually.
Sure. This is your stock market today. But wait, not
That's
today.
March. Where's today?
Let's see.
Oh wow, they took a nosedive.
All right. So yeah, it's been a rough month. We were around 42, 41, 42.
We're down like 36 now.
And then right, tariff time. Which still isn't bad. I grew up in the 80s and in the 90s when it's like when the stock market hit 3,000, we're like, oh my God, it's crazy. It was crazy. Then it hit 8,000 under George W. Bush. He kept us at a cool 8K, right? That was great, And Clinton,
I like how what's funny? My generation, they don't realize like the market probably lost like $1 or $2 trillion in value over the past month.
Oh yeah,
how about that,
easy.
Right? And my generation's just like, anyways, back to TikTok, back to Instagram,
back to Tumblr,
back to
Tumblr.
Listen, I think that the economy will bounce back after a while.
But I mean, do you think?
I think so. Listen, when the Nikkei market in Japan tanked so badly in futures that they had to cancel trading for futures,
okay,
I think that tells you your economy is much bigger than most people really like to give it credit.
Here's the thing: how long are people going to give? How long are ordinary people like me going to say, "Hey, our 401ks, our savings, now we have to readjust what age we had to retire at.
Yeah, that's obviously concerning. I think the government would have to step in and I'm not saying refinance those, but I would imagine they need to give some sort of compensation.
Compensation
in the sense of like the 401k is like the average Joe. You know what I mean? Because it's not like you can expect them to make up that value within the next month. You know?
Oh no, they're not. No,
exactly. My point exactly.
No, I've lost 5. Okay, I'll give you. All right, I know. Your mother's gonna hate me for this, but 5%. My net worth is gone in 2 days. We're not good. There we go. There we go. We're back.
Okay, we lost. Let's go back and recap. You said 5%. We were talking about
the
Nikkei market.
Well, no, we're talking about me.
Oh, you're talking about you.
We're talking about me.
Oh yeah.
So the Nikkei's down. The Canadian stock market's down. All this is down.
Chinese market's down. 7-8%.
Market's down. What's fun is like you get stories like this. Oh well, here's Trump. I don't want anything to go down. Well, I mean, you talk to the women in his life, he probably would say different. But anyway, I don't want anything to go down. But sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something, Trump said in the stock market aboard Air Force One on Sunday. Oh my God. Listen, there's only so much pain. People, but it's a war. We're in a war, buddy.
Yeah,
we're in a trade war. This is like the most devastating kind of war. Like, fuck bullets and bombs, all right? And dying soldiers. You want to see countries get devastated? Here comes the economy, all right? We're going to devastate your economy, or our economy is going to go. Or we're just going to devastate everybody. You want to see people die. There's some weird ratio of like every time the stock market drops a certain percentage, a certain number of people lose their lives for whatever reason, whether it's because they can't stand the fact that they're poor now and they self-delete or whatever. They can't afford their medicine or they can't afford groceries. They become homeless, whatever. They turn to crime. They end up becoming a victim. There's this weird thing where it's like, every time the stock market drops something like that, the increase in unnatural death occurs. So you want to see we're in a war, buddy.
Yeah.
Put on your helmet.
Time to strap in, boys.
Strap in and put on your helmet. And we're not dealing with AKs right now. We're dealing with FTFs and all sorts of mutual funds, and we're dealing with crypto. Yep, we're fighting with economics. And no one has a clue what the hell they're doing.
Because economics love to say this, all right? And then you learn this in every class. Everybody do micro or macro. No one will ever be able to tell you what the market's going to do. We can kind of predict based off of history, but it's a science. But it's a science without a lab, because the lab you have is the real world. Yep. So you can't really go experimenting. Nope. Because if you go experimenting, that means you're going to break things and you're going to fail. And countries don't like to fail for fun. You're like, oh, the market dropped 20%, but it's okay. We know this will cause it to drop 20%.
Well, President Trump said he wasn't considering a pause on his plan to implement sweeping additional tariffs on dozens of countries, despite outreach from trading partners eager to avoid the levies, while still signaling he could be open to some negotiations. He, quote, "We're not looking at that." Dude, he's looking to hurt.
Yeah,
he's looking for, Trump said on Monday while meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the Oval Office.
Do you think he was sitting there thinking, I'm glad we're getting military supplies, but we need our economy to stay up, please? Don't.
Trump said tariffs were very important. There can be permanent tariffs, and there can also be negotiations, because there are things that we need beyond tariffs, he added. He goes, while opening the door, fair deal, good deals with every country. He is just trying to rewrite. It's like saying you're looking at the chessboard, and he's like, nah.
I don't want to play this game no more.
Instead of squares, we're going to do triangles. What the hell are you talking about? We're going to play that 3D chess they have in Star Trek, all right? That's what we're going to do.
And why have it just between me and you when we can add in 3 and 4 players instead?
Oh, my God. So, let's see here.
God.
We will eliminate the trade deficit with the United States, Netanyahu told reporters. We intend to do it very quickly. We think it's the right thing to do, and we're going to also eliminate trade barriers. I mean, that's what Trump wants done with every country. He wants every country to come to him and say, we're going to eliminate all trade barriers. We're going to take down our own levies and tariffs against you. And it is what it is. Everything's fair. May the best product win. That's what he's looking to do.
That's fair. I respect that. Granted, I don't think we have the manufacturing to maybe keep up with certain countries.
Oh, no. Why did he say this?
What did he say?
But underscoring the difficulty of divining Trump's intentions, the president said even that might not be enough for him to reduce tariffs on the longtime U.S. ally. He goes, this is what Trump says, quote, quote, maybe not. Don't forget, we helped keep Israel alive, Trump said, adding that the U.S. gives Israel billions of dollars a year in defense assistance.
Is he going to hold it for ransom money?
I know. Minutes later, Trump said, we do take care of our friends. Dude, it's like dealing with the fucking mafia boss.
Yeah, it's
freaking insane.
It's like, you owe me.
He goes, tariffs will make this country very rich. Dude, he is just...
This is crazy.
Dude, look, it's like literally you're sitting there with like...
The New York mob. Dude, when did the Oval Office get all gold?
That's Trump, dude.
That looks Trump. That's like New York mob style. We're going to shake you down.
That's what his apartment would look like in New York. Have you ever seen his stuff?
I've seen it. Dude, it's like a shakedown from the mob.
Oh my God.
What is this thing?
It's freaking hilarious. I mean, we're all going to end up in the street pouring in a box, but I mean, but at least we'll be laughing as we go there. But Jesus.
I'm always for it if it's for a good laugh.
Oh, my God. They make barriers that are so tough that it's impossible to qualify, Trump said. So tariffs are a big part of it, but there's another big part of it, and that's barriers. And they also do something else. They manipulate the currency and they drive it down, talking about other countries.
He's talking about China.
He's talking
That's very clearly China.
Wait.
Other countries? What other country?
We're getting to it. Hold on. The European Union has been very tough over the years.
Oh, did you see?
I always say it was formed to really do damage. He goes, the EU was formed to do damage to the United States in trade. That's what he believes. That's the reason it was formed. They formed together to create a little bit of a monopoly situation to create a unified force against the United States for trade. We have a deficit with the European Union of $350 billion. It's going to disappear fast.
Did you see what the EU said about this?
No.
They said they're going to respond equally and Europe's going to stand united on this. And I'll be honest, there are a couple of, it's funny because right after they said that, Hungary came out and said, we want to make deals. Italy was like, we'll make deals with you maybe as well.
Yeah.
And so the EU is looking back.
Dude, is Trump going to be the president that destroyed the EU?
Honestly,
that broke up the EU?
You know what it might be? It might be Trump in combination with Italy.
That could be.
Do you know the prime minister of Italy?
Yeah. Meloni there.
Meloni, yeah.
Yeah.
She
loves him.
They get along great. Those two countries might be the ones that like, oh, we're gonna leave the EU because they've had Italy for a while has had kind of rhetoric of talking about leaving the EU.
Oh yeah.
Within it, of course, there's a big part of it that doesn't want to leave the EU, but they want more control over their economics. They don't like the whole German domination in there. A lot of countries don't like that. Who guessed the country that started 2 world wars would be unliked by the others economically?
Don't ever trust those motherfuckers.
Listen.
Don't trust them.
Plus defensive reasons as well. And then you have Hungary, Orzaban, who's kind of a little bit of a, I would say nut job, a little bit of a nut job.
Yeah.
Just a tad bit. Good guy, but a little bit. He wants to do deals, I believe, with the U.S. Poland wants to do deals with the U.S. So you have parts of like Europe here, it's like kind of divided internally, and they're trying to mask it. They're like, no, we're united. Yeah, you might be right. They might break this apart. They might take a hammer to this. Obama right there.
There he is, baby. We're going to talk about him next. Since we're talking about presidents.
Why are we talking about Obama?
Oh, he basically,
what did he do?
He basically was giving a speech and he's bad mouthing Trump and he goes, imagine if I'd done any of this. And I'm like, asshole, you forced through a healthcare bill that no one wanted and basically almost devastated the healthcare market. And by the way, the healthcare market, if you ever go try to sign up for that type of healthcare, it sucks. I'm pretty sure you droned more people than anybody else in the human history, and I'm pretty sure you've deported more people than anyone else in history. Motherfucker, you have done this shit, right? Stop trying to rewrite your legacy.
Everyone just gave him a pass. Yeah, didn't he get like the Nobel Peace Prize? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, he got the Nobel Peace Prize like a month after getting elected to office, and he's like, I don't know why they're giving this to me. No one knows why they give it to him.
That's all right.
No one, right?
I would have loved it if they gave it to him and they said, for courageous drone strikes in the Middle East.
For courageously drone striking. There he is. Good old Obama.
I have a friend.
Did they leave Caesar in it? Did she leave Caesar in it?
Yeah, I have a friend.
Oh, you have a friend? By the way, that sound you hear, that's my dog Caesar.
Don't call him. He's here with me.
Okay. Well, you keep him over there because he'll come over here and wreck the place. So I just wanted you to know that President Obama's out there and he's like,
I didn't do nothing wrong.
I did nothing wrong.
Meanwhile, Afghanistan. Meanwhile, in the deserts of the Middle East.
Oh, man. All right. So we got so much. Oh, no, we got to block that. We don't want that.
Ooh, you don't want that?
I don't want that. Block that. Boom.
He looks making a lot of noise.
Yeah, he does. All right. Oh, wait. I have one more political story. I thought you would enjoy this. This has got graphics and interactive graphics.
I don't like this.
All right.
That is all emoji.
These are all text messages that have been sent and intercepted between Iranian agents and people in Sweden, teenagers in Sweden.
Were they like normal Swedish teenagers or like Swedish immigrant teenagers?
Not sure, but they're Swedish teenagers. They're Swedish citizens.
Yeah, some of them are not. Have you met some of the Swedes? I've met them.
Yeah.
Nut jobs. At first, they seemed really nice.
But
let me tell you some story about a couple of Swedes I met in when I was studying in Europe. Yeah. Nice people at first, but then you start to get to know them. You see like cracks in their mind. They turn out to be like the most wackiest nut jobs, like the things they did for fun.
They live in the North Pole.
I know, but like when they were like, you meet them in like Rome, and at first you're like, oh, this is normal. They're nice. They're so polite at first, and then you start talking and get to know them. They tell like the most outlandish things, whether it's their political beliefs or the experiences that they had, which they think are like normal but are like truly traumatic. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
What do you do for fun? I punch whales in the face. And it's like, oh, okay.
That's great. Good for you.
So,
goodbye, Sven.
So Iran is basically sending out and recruiting through text messages and these apps, teenagers from Sweden to go and basically like, well, you'll see.
I see something about Denmark, which doesn't
There are
surprise
more job opportunities, more money, everything from throwing apples to shooting, right? Throwing, well, not an apple. Come and get your rabbit and DM, blah, 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 all this stuff, right? Okay, so here we go.
Wait, can I tell you something? I see something about Denmark in these messages. And let me give you some context. Swedish people and Danish people do not really... Okay, nowadays they get along with each other, but historically, and a lot of these people still hold on to this sentiment, hate each other.
Oh, yeah.
They despise each other. Nationally, right?
Here we go.
Oh.
As darkness... And all right, I'm going to use my best voice. As darkness enveloped Stockholm one evening last May, the city set into its nocturnal rhythm and its criminal underworld came alive. In a home in Västerås, a lakeside city 60 miles west of the capital, a mother completed her nighttime routine, comforted by the sight of her 15-year-old son safely in bed. But just before midnight, the teenager silently rose and slipped out. A job awaited him, one he believed would be over before daybreak, well ahead of his national math examination. Outside, an Uber arrived. Someone else had arranged a transportation for him. Court and police documents show this. The documents, which included text he exchanged, detail his journey. The following messages have been edited for clarity and length. I love this. Brother, listen, tell them I'm ready whenever. Tell me when you're in the taxi. Quick, bro. Hey, brother, let's see. Quick, bro. Brother, I said don't turn off until you're in the taxi. Right? And so it's basically, call me, brother. Hey, brother, call me. Brother, how can you do this to me? I gave you everything. I've always helped you. Now you're not responding to me. Brother, I've got no Wi-Fi. I only have it on this one. So basically the guy in the car had no Wi-Fi. His handler's like, where are you?
This is crazy.
The taxi pulled up to a parking lot in the Stockholm suburb of Tariffs, according to Uber records. There, he was instructed over text messages to pick up a gun.
I'm sorry, this is all over text.
Right? Yep. There, behind the red house. There's the picture. Behind the red house with the tree. Where I'm zooming in. There's the gun. We're booking the next taxi now for you. Take the gun quickly. Load it and conceal it. The taxi is there any minute. Oh, boy, right?
Can we have context to this?
What?
Who is this Swedish kid? Is he just a normal Swedish kid?
Normal Swedish kid. He got recruited over text message, wants money, Iranian agents. He put it in his right jacket pocket. Another taxi pulled up and he climbed in. Your taxi has arrived. These are all from court documents. Embassy of Israel.
Oh, you're shitty.
Oh, no. Just moments earlier, he looked up the destination he was being driven to, the Israeli embassy in Stockholm.
Okay, this is why.
He never arrived. Why? Shortly after starting his final leg of the journey, blue lights flashed, police swarmed, and he was arrested. But just over 24 hours later, another boy, 14, made it. 9mm semi-automatic pistol in hand, he fired several shots near the embassy at 2 a.m. before being detained. But this is happening gang violence over and over again. So this, I mean, what do you think of this? Want some cash?
This is wild. First of all, what kind of kid is dumb enough? Okay, you know what? Europeans, and I know this for a fact.
What kind of kid? A ton of them.
No, a ton of them.
Have you seen?
Let me say this first. Europeans always say Americans are dumb.
Everybody want to be a gangster.
Everyone, and then they try to imitate the whole kind of American gangster kind of stuff. Right? You know what I mean?
You better check yourself before
gang
you
stuff.
I'm having fun with it.
You're having fun with it. It's embarrassing because the Europeans will tell you that they're smarter than Americans, but then they'll imitate Americans and gangster stuff, and they'll.
All I gotta do, boom, 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 boom. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Never mind. This one I can't do it. I can't do it.
I'm having a blast.
I just want to talk.
I'm like, who's getting text message? Seriously, someone sends you a text message, $150,000.
No, it's a scam.
Go get this gun.
That's like a Nigerian prince. I want to give you my fortune scan.
Oh my god! I thought your generation is supposed to be more.
This is not. They're Europeans. Listen, Europeans always tell me they're smarter than Americans, but then they imitate American gangsters gangs, and all that kind of whole style and dumb shit, right? And then they go and do this. They always go and do the stupidest things. And I look at them and I'm like, listen, you guys are nut jobs.
I have an idea. Remember that
a 14-year-old thought, yes, money, I'll take a gun and shoot at an embassy.
They
want to arrest me?
Do you remember that show, To Catch a Predator?
Yes.
We can do this in Europe, except it's to catch a terrorist. To catch.
I feel like that's extremely dangerous because these kids probably have a gun.
No. They had to go get the gun. They had it planted.
I know. But if you had them go get a...
Dude, just have SWAT there, ready to go.
I don't know. This is a bad idea.
We can make some cash. Make it exciting.
It would be kind of fun.
Dude, you can be the guy that comes out into the kitchen. So, tell me, sir.
What, so I get shot?
I'll give you a bulletproof vest.
There's no bulletproof vest for my face.
Be good.
Oh, God.
So,
it would be fun. I would not lie. That would be entertaining.
I think that was the last political story I had, but that was more entertaining than anything else.
Wow.
That was more entertaining than anything else. All right, let's see here. I'm telling you. I thought you would enjoy that one. I didn't want to spend too much time on it.
That's just wild.
All right, you want chaos in the theaters or racism in space?
I'm sorry, the fuck did you just say last?
Chaos in theaters or racism in space?
I gotta hear about the racism in space.
Woo-hoo! John Boyega.
Oh, so I have a feeling the chaos in theaters, does it have to do with the Minecraft movie and certain showings? Yeah, yes. I've seen some, I didn't know this, but some people are like absolutely like doing nut house shit.
Oh, we're gonna get to it. John Boyega calls out Star Wars for its overwhelming whiteness. Well, the stormtroopers wear white, but
who's John Boyega?
Dude, Finn.
John Boyega is Finn?
Finn.
That's his name?
Yeah. John Boyega. Yeah.
Your name is John.
Yeah, he's upset because he got cast in a multi-billion-dollar film, and all that stuff, and made.
Dude, he was one of the main characters.
Yeah, was one of the main characters.
Lando's cool.
Yeah. Oh,
speaking of Lando,
it can't be that. I mean, here we go. Just bought it yesterday, baby. The coolest black man next to Mace Windu. Right? Mace Windu was like Yoda's best friend.
Dude,
Lando blew up the second Death Star. I mean, he was like the hero of Return of the Jedi besides Luke, right?
And Han.
Han did shit.
Han still was important.
He did shit. He was just frozen half the time. In a new Apple TV Plus documentary, actor John Boyega had some harsh words for the Star Wars universe. The call-out is as much directed as the creators of the franchise as his fans. In the first of all, we as fans, Star Wars fans, when I was watching Star Wars as a kid, I didn't give a fuck who was black. I didn't give a fuck.
Dude, they have aliens.
Who was white. I didn't give a shit whether you were green, you were blue. I didn't care. Didn't care. You know who cared? Your victim right here. The guy who needs to be a victim because his career fell apart. So all he's got is his victimhood. So, I mean, that's it.
Yeah, I haven't seen him
it's
in
your
any
career.
movies.
Your career, you're a victim. He goes, let me tell you.
Let me tell you something.
let me tell you. Star Wars has always had the vibe of being in the most whitest elite space. Really? Elite? We're a bunch of fucking nerds that get the shit kicked out of us for liking Star Wars in the first place. You dumb fuck. It's a franchise that's so white that a black person existing in it was something. No, it wasn't. Because we had Lando. It was awesome. Then we had Mace Windu, the coolest motherfucking Jedi in the fucking universe. Right? It was great. We wanted more Sam Jackson. We were upset when Sam Jackson got his ass kicked. We were like, no, we want more Sam Jackson. Right? But then again, here's what he said. You can always tell it's something when some Star Wars fans try to say, well, we had Lando Calrissian and had Samuel L. Jackson. It's like telling me how many cookie chips are in the cookie dough. It's like they just scattered them in there, bro. No, we didn't just scatter them in there. We said, who's the best actor for this friggin' role? You know what? And if you did a better job and maybe did a better job of acting and figuring out, I don't know, maybe gave some feedback and maybe, did your job, you wouldn't be in the position you're in there, John Boyega. Jesus Christ. It's like, it's a circular racism. It's like, you need black people in Star Wars. Okay, we put some black people in Star Wars. How's that? It's not cool because there's not enough black people. I'm like, okay. Who gives a shit? It's Star Wars. It's not supposed to be about race. But again, just like the first story we talked about, just like the first story with the black kid murdering the white kid, they're going to make it about race. This guy's going to make everything about race because without their victimhood, you know what they are? Nothing. They don't even see themselves as anything. They need their victimhood. They need it. You were in Star Wars. Go fuck yourself. I mean, of all the shitty lives you could have on this fucking planet, you starred in a trilogy with Disney Star Wars. Seriously, this guy's such an ass. He's such an ass. But that's what it is. It's circular racism, circular victimhood. That's what this guy is. So that's what I got to say about that. I just wanted to say that. How you doing?
Yeah, I don't got much fun ahead.
Yeah. Give me my Lando Calrissian doll. Action figure.
Doll?
Lando.
Wow, you call that a
Lando.
doll?
Me, Lando, and a couple of Colt 45s. Woo! And I mean that by beers. All right.
I thought you meant weapon.
Nope. Colt 40 used to be a beer. Colts. All right.
Colt is a gun.
Thank
you very much.
All right. Who saw this coming? Well, you and I actually saw this coming.
I saw this coming from a mile away.
All
I'm
right.
surprised people are surprised.
Here we go. Minecraft.
It's up to 313.
$313 million. It's already made profit. Listen, we did the review. We said it was okay. There was some stuff we didn't like about it, the stuff we loved about it.
Yeah, it does not take itself seriously, and I think that's a good thing. And
it doesn't.
It's a fun movie to watch at least once. It's a little weird. It's especially extremely weird if you've never played the game before.
I never played the game before.
Or have like no knowledge of like the kind of communities that surrounds it or is built around it.
Yeah.
But so long as you have that understanding, you'll enjoy it to an extent. But it is very much a movie made for kids. There have been some crazy people in the theaters. I think we'll get into that a little after.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Yep.
At least that I've seen. But I mean, we saw people dressing up the whole weekend.
Yeah, they're having fun.
They're having fun, dressing up as their characters. Some people had their name tags of their avatars of their characters, right? Or their...
Oh, wait a minute. I just thought of something. There's only one black person in Minecraft. Is Minecraft racist? John Boyega would say it's racist because there's only one chocolate chip in that dough. It's Danielle Brooks. She's our token.
Wow.
I'm just saying. I was just thinking of that right on my head. Oh, my God. What are we going to do? We have to...
Diversify it?
Oh, we have to protest it now.
I mean, I think there should be more offense that there's no Swede in it. Considering it's a Swedish game originally.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
You know what I mean?
Just saying.
If we're really going to go off of that.
So, but yeah, it's a good movie. Not a good movie. It's an okay movie.
It's an okay but fun movie.
Yeah. This guy right here was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I
was concerned for his character when I first saw it. In the trailer.
Yeah.
And I was a little concerned about the trailer because I didn't exactly like the way it looked. But, I got past that. And Jason Momoa stole the show.
And here's my big thing about this. You have YouTube channels, and again, some of them I watch because they entertain me, like Nerdrotic or Critical Drinker, right? They for months trashed this movie before it's even come out. Fine, that's what they do, right? That's how they get their clicks, right? I get that. I don't want you. That's how you get your money. Feel free to do it, right? So they trash it. They say then the day it comes out, they say it's a mess. It's a horrible movie, right? And then when people go and see it, and it gets it's got a score of 84% on Rotten Tomatoes, and audiences like it, then they say it sucks, but it's still going to make a ton of money. And these are the same people, right? That when Kathleen Kennedy says we're toxic Star Wars fans, now these say they go raging against Kathleen Kennedy, but now these same people, Critical Drinker, Neurotic, and people like that, are saying, "Oh wait, this movie's making money. You know why? These must be idiot fans too." It's like, okay, either we're all idiot fans or we're not idiot fans. It's like they do everything. It's like a big circular argument. Listen, the movie's not great, but the movie's not bad either.
No.
And guess what? People have been wanting something to do that's fun in a movie theater. Fucking fun. And you laugh sometimes during this movie. And so people are going to go see it. And, of course, they're trashing the theaters in the United States because you people are all psychos.
Yeah, you guys, some of you fans, right? And I know I'm technically part of the fan base because I do play Minecraft.
Fucking psycho.
Sure, I'm a psycho for other things. I would never do these things in public, first of all. And not that I do any of these things in the privacy of my own home. What are we doing in the theaters here, people? It's the popcorn, the back flips, the front flips, the speeches.
Let's see, does this play?
Dude, it's getting so bad in certain places that certain movie theaters are considering about pulling the movie.
I don't know where this Instagram is from, but let's see here. I thought they were going to show it. Okay, they're not going to show it? Yeah, they're pulling the movie and all that. So.
Well, possibly. They haven't said they're going to pull it fully yet.
Yeah.
Because it's making money, so you might be willing to tolerate it for money.
Yeah, so it's like this. They're trashing me. Absolutely.
Oh, did you see the new thing that they're starting to play before the movie?
No.
Look up new Minecraft movie. What would you call it? Like warning
Oh wait, hold on. Here we go.
in theaters?
Here. This dude, right? So they trashed Minecraft movie theater with disrespect content. They're literally shitting all over these movie theaters, right? It's disgusting. People are like, oh, they're just having fun. And someone said, you never been to the Rocky Horror Picture Show? I've been to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. We don't trash the theater like that. We all have fun singing along, but, we don't trash the theater like this. There's fights. There's vomit and stuff. They have to stop the movie because people are getting hurt.
Are people fighting each other for fun? Like Minecraft
someone
style?
body slammed one of the theater ushers, and they had to bring in the police. And they said, "All right, we're going to escort this guy out with no refund." Fuck that! If someone body slammed me, I want that person arrested. So this shit is going on all over the place. And guess what? Theater owners, they don't care.
There is no.
You know why?
They're making money.
They're making money.
They're making good money.
They
Look,
are
do you see?
making
This is
money.
what they're playing now. Look at my screen here. You have to look this up.
We know the chicken jockey is epic, but please don't throw popcorn or soft drinks at the screen. Chicken showers chickens don't like showers. Showers our staff don't either. Chickens don't like showers. Our staff don't either. I don't know what that means.
I think that was a typo.
Yeah, it's a typo. Yeah.
But this is actually real. This is actual real one.
Yeah, well, I mean, here we go. We got like these kids getting escorted out because they were fighting or they were causing problems. This is a little thing right here. I mean, I've seen it worse. But yeah, the United States, boo, you guys got to calm down. Oh wait, here's a good one. I mean, poor people. They got to clean up after you. I mean, don't leave any type of fluid on the seats, Coke or otherwise. Please, just it's not worth it. Please don't do that.
Maybe it's chicken showers don't like showers.
Could be. Don't show your chicken either.
Oh, showers. Are we thinking? Is this showers, not showers?
Chicken showers. Who knows?
Maybe. I don't know.
But yeah, they're trashing the place. But the movie is a success.
Yeah.
The people who hated on the movie before it came out are just trying to figure out how to hate on it with some more. Again.
Yeah, it's making good money.
It's making great money. It's making great money because it's fun. Well, let people have their fucking fun.
And it's a franchise that's beloved.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, easily beloved. And like I said, you can see our review on our channel. There's plenty of things that we didn't like about it.
I was a little more harsh on that review because after doing the review, I kind of thought more about it. I was like, you know what? Because I said like only 60% of it is accurate. It's more like 70, 70, maybe up to 80. And I did have a fun time in certain parts. A lot of the humor did hit for me.
Biggest opening for a video game ever.
Makes sense for the biggest video game in the world.
Yeah.
It's fitting.
Yeah. The first 3 months of 2025 have been a disaster for the movie industry, with box office disappointments including Snow White, Mickey 17, Captain America Brave New World, Novocaine, and The Alto Knights. All those movies sucked.
Yeah. And this actually was fun. Was it
this
great?
was fun.
It wasn't great, no. But was it fun? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know what movie you would give an Oscar to this year so far.
Nothing's come out. No. It'll be independent stuff that no one's ever heard of, just like this year.
That's my point. It's like that's bad for the movie industry.
So I mean, this will be fun. And it's gonna, So God bless Minecraft. I hope it continues, and I hope it continues to make, again, it drives people don't know how to deal with it. They hate on it before it even comes out. And yeah, I'll make fun of something if I look at it and go, yeah, I don't really like that. But if I like it when it comes out, I go, you know what, I was wrong. That was actually pretty cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
But once Minecraft is one, and you can hate it all you want, but it's one. If Snow White all of a sudden came out of the gate and made $1 billion, all the haters would have to be like, "Oh, I guess we're wrong." You still hate it, but you can't say it sucks.
Exactly.
So, and now the next movie up for you and I, the Thunderbolts.
Oh,
the Thunderbolts.
I'm not excited, Gringo. Gringo, why?
The Thunderbolts. Yes. So it's Sentry, right? That's the big bad dude they're gonna fight.
Discount Superman.
Well, they call him the Void.
Discount Superman.
Discount Superman.
Hey, don't call him the Void. Don't call him Sentry.
I voided my bowels while watching this film.
Wow.
So we're gonna
it's Discount Superman. I'm sorry. That's what you chose.
That is. Yeah.
Well, real Superman comes out in a few months after.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm worried. I'm worried. A little worried more now. So, but apparently there's been a reveal. So the Void, you can see the extended trailer and all that. I thought that would be interesting. But yeah. But I'm a racist. I'm a racist Star Wars fan.
Yeah, how dare you not want?
How dare I
want
open
more?
up my? I mean,
More
really,
diversity in a world filled
you know
with
what? If I was a
diversity.
true racist, I'd keep Lando locked in this cage of a box where he belongs.
Wow.
But you know,
Someone's gonna clip that, and someone's gonna make that a meme.
I don't care. Make it a meme. An old white guy with a white beard. What are you gonna do? Come down to Mexico? You gonna make a meme out of me? Good. Make me famous. I don't give a shit. But you know, this is cool packaging. I like these Black Series.
And why you open the
You know
box?
what? Oh my God! It's the Black Series too. There's so much dripping contradictory racism in all of this.
Wow.
Do I own them? Do I not own them? I don't know. Oh my God.
Like,
John Boyega, where are you to tell me my value system when I need you? Oh, that's pretty cool. Little thing here. You know, he was on discount on the shelf. That's why I bought
that's worse if you think about it.
clearance racism, discounted racism.
Were there other figures? There were other figures, no?
There were a couple. There was one from a video game and one from The Mandalorian season 3, which I didn't want. But when we go to Mexico City, we go to the whole toy fair. Dude, there's like these things all over the place.
Oh yeah.
Oh, let me get you out of there. Oh. I don't want to be gentle. Oh, there's your cape. Be gentle with your cape. Don't rip your clothes. You get one staff. Oh, it's not bad. You got a little cape there.
Was it satin?
It's
Just cloth.
No, it's just cloth. It's a nice fine cloth. You can blow your nose on it if you want. You put his little pistol in there.
He's got a gun.
He's got a gun. He's a black man with a gun. More racism. Wow, I'm such a racist Star Wars fan, John Boyega. Oh, just racist. My Lando Calrissian. What am I gonna do now? Jesus.
Yeah, how dare you?
How dare I? You know
How
what?
dare you?
I'm gonna put my Lando Calrissian figure up right next to my my Yamato. And this is Japanese, which shows that, you know, I don't like Asians either. So I guess because I have that. It's my only Japanese ship that I have. So, John Boyega, you a-hole. Anyways, that's what I got. I'm going to cook some pasta and meatballs today.
I'm gonna go finish editing stuff.
You should finish editing stuff.
Now I think with that,
There he is.
you ready to set
There
this
he
off,
is.
buddy?
I think so. I think I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go too.
Hey, I'm still your reluctant gringo. Thanks everyone for joining in. From somewhere south of the border is me and my son. Salud and a huevo.
You a racist? Do you hate Mexicans?
So long, gay boys!